Rockstar gang, what up, what up, what up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome to the Rockstar Report. And boy, I have a good show for you today. Obviously, if you look at the description of this live stream, we're going to discuss a lot of things. We're going to talk about the fifth-year option of Jaycee Horn. We're going to talk about some the Derek Brown situation. We're going to talk about the general manager and how fans need to remain patient. All right, we're going to talk about that. With the draft around the corner, I have my top three guys I want the Panthers to take at number 33. And still in pursuit, we're going to talk about how the Panthers are still in pursuit of Jadeveon Clowney. Excuse me, I just got done eating lunch. And then we're going to talk about the rule changes. I really want to talk about the rule changes first because I think it's bullshit. After really reading over what the NFL has done with these rule changes, I think it's bullshit. I really do. I think that they're trying to make this into a flag football game. I'm thinking they're trying to add more women to the sport. And it's nothing against women. I love women. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have a beautiful daughter. But at the end of the day, this is a man's sport. I don't like there is women's professional football, if you didn't know that. Like there is a league out there. I just don't see women being involved. Whether, and even with the refereeing, coaching, playing, like, you think Derrick Henry running through the hole and a girl playing linebacker is a smart move? You know, I feel like that's where this whole thing's going, right? That's where I feel like this whole thing's going, whether you believe it or not. That's just where I see it. That's just where I see it going, man. Like, I mean, this is going to be a flag football league here sooner rather than later. And it's taken away. I mean, this game has been around for over 100 years, right? Technically, something like that, give or take. So here is the rules that they basically approved. And some other, and here's more on this side. So the thing is for me is this. There is I think there is some pros. I think there is some positives to this, and I think there is some negatives to this, right? Right. I think that there is definitely some positives and negatives to this. Okay. And I just feel that the way this is going, it's not honestly, when we are brought up in Pop Warner, right? When I was brought up in Pop Warner to tackle, so we're talking about the hip thing, right? The hip tackle. I was brought up to learn to hit below the waist, go for the legs, right? Go for the hip. Like that's what we were taught in Pop Warner. Like I was never taught to go for the head or anything like that. I was always taught to go low. And you're just taking away from the game. You're taking away from the game. It's going to make it you're going to see. And here's the thing. They're doing that so that players, it's not because of injuries. You're going to cause more injuries because of this, in my opinion. But you're causing it that you're going to see more explosive plays. That's what they want. That's what I think it is. They want to show these explosive plays, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, in this whole manual, I mean, the meeting was kicked off in Orlando. And it's not just the palm swing. It's the potential rule changes that we're stirring up in the football world. And while not as exciting as the free agency or the draft, these meetings can profoundly impact the upcoming seasons of any team. Picture this, right? Picture this like this. You got league officials, franchise owners. You got David Tepper up in there. You saw that. If you didn't watch the Pat McAfee show yesterday, you should have seen. He was actually on there for like a mid-second because of Adam Schefter. It was pretty hilarious. And they kind of had a little back and forth, like a little joking back and forth. So it was nice to see that there was no bad blood there. It's hard to hate Pat McAfee anyways. But coaches gather around in this whole football theme summit. And what's on the agenda, right? Some juicy rule proposals that could flip the playbook upside down. Which is that, I mean, that's basically what we're going to have to do as a team and these other teams too. So now, after what, and I'm going to tell you this right now, after reading some of these rule changes, you better go ahead and you better get a big tight end and a big Derrick Henry. You better find, so if I'm Carolina and I'm going into this draft, even though I got my top 3 drafts, picks that I really want, but now with these rule changes, there's some other guys I really, really want. And a big tight end and a big running back. So Braylon Allen and Jadeveon Sanders, I hope we draft both of them. Now, I'll give you my true top 3 that I want. But I'm hoping that we draft both of those guys. Because the way that these rule changes are changing, both of those guys are going to eat. Both of those guys are going to eat in this league, the way that these rules changes. So the Derrick Henrys of the world, the George Kittles of the world, if you're getting ready for fantasy football, you might as well go ahead and draft those kinds of guys because of these new rules in your next fantasy league. So the hot topic, right, is banning the hip drop tackle. This move, to me, aims to make, they're trying to make the game safer. I understand that that's what they're doing. But targeting awkward takedowns, to me, resembles a complicated dance move basically going wrong. All right. Think of it as if they outlawed the Macarena. All right. On the field, right? Think of it as outlawing the Macarena on the field. That's what they're doing. And you know, there's arguments. It's all about the player safety. It's all about the player safety. No one wants, after all, I get it. No one wants their star quarterback sideline with a hip hop injury. Okay. But critics fear, like myself, it'll be like deciphering hieroglyphics for the refs. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And defenders will have to then rewrite their whole tackling playbook overnight. Can't tackle like this. You can't do it in practice either. They can't practice this, right? Because in practice they're not doing this on a daily. They're not in pads on a daily. So it's like you're asking a dog to meow instead of bark, right? Like that's the best analogy I can come up with this whole thing, right? You know, so then there's this proposed kickoff overhaul. At first, I was like, this sounds good, but then I wasn't too sure. And they wanted to say that and then the NFL wants to come out and say, well, we weren't borrowing from the NFL. We weren't borrowing from the NFL or the XFL. Sorry, they're not borrowing a page out of the XFL. They definitely were. They borrowed the whole thing out of the XFL. They're full of shit. The NFL's full of shit. Roger Goodell's full of shit. I think this would inject some much needed. I think this will inject some much needed excitement into the kickoff. And it's because this was something that used to be thrilling back in the day until now you watch, it's like watching paint dry. You know, now that this whole thing is now that this whole new rule's out with the kickoff thing, could you imagine like Devin Hester in his prime? Just coming out here. Hell, he might come out and dust off his cleats and revive that whole forgotten art form and watch him come out there and do it, right? It's like bringing back vinyl records and like, if you think about it, it's like, you know, like those old vinyl records, right? In the age of streaming. It's kind of nonchalant, but yet it's kind of refreshingly different. But then hold on to your helmets because there's a catch here, guys. There's a catch because, again, say goodbye to, you know, surprise onside kicks. I think it's bullshit. I think it's like taking a surprise out of a surprise party. Where's the fun in that? Like, and don't even get me started on the potential penalty pitfalls. It's like navigating a minefield blindfolded. I mean, that's literally what the NFL is doing. And then the next up, you got the play clock review, right? Where you finally a chance to catch those, sneaky offenses red-handed. Oh, it's coming, Josh. If you thought the bad calls were already bad, wait till this year. It's like they're going into the NBA route. And the NBA is trash now. It's trash. I don't care what anybody says. The NBA now is trash. And that's the reason why, like, I'm not trying to get in the debate, but LeBron was so dominant in this thing because it's a soft ass league. That's why I can't choose him as my GOAT. Like, I still have Kobe as my GOAT. I still think MJ was better than LeBron. I like LeBron. I think he's one of the greatest of all time for sure. He's definitely top 3 in my opinion in that big 3 conversation, but he's definitely not number 1 for me. But you look at the NBA and you compare it to, you see what now the NBA is doing, and now look what the NFL is doing. It's becoming a soft ass league. So now that with this whole play clock review, they're going to take a chance to catch these sneaky offenses red-handed when they try to bend time like they're Doctor Strange or something. It's all because what they're trying to say is it's all about fairness and transparency here. Okay. They're trying to ensure that this game's integrity, even in the age of legalized sports betting, and all of this is really for sports betting. I can tell you that right now. Really, all of this is for sports betting. That's what it's about. It's about making money. Because it's starting to, I mean, man, it's the narrative of this league being, the league is like, I'm starting to think that the NFL is almost like the WWE. They've got a script. I'm starting to think that, unfortunately, because you're ensuring the game's integrity even in the age of legalized sports betting. You are. Because brace yourselves, guys. There's going to be more stoppages in these games than rush hour traffic. It's like hitting every red light on the way to wherever you're going, and you're in a hurry. Except in the NFL, in this case, you're hitting every red light on the way to the end zone. And then let's remember that they expanded the crackback block rules. They're like putting bumpers on a bowl. I mean, what they're basically doing is basically you ever go into a bowling alley, to a bowling lane, and they put bumpers on it? Basically, what they're doing is protecting defenders from blindsided hits, and that they could end the season in a blink, right? But with more flags flying, it's like trying to find Waldo in a sea of laundry. I mean, that's literally what it's going to be. And if you think I'm wrong, watch. Just watch. And then last but not least, they have the new rule for the trade deadline, which came out. They have the trade deadline now, which is going to be a later trade deadline. So basically, it's going to be a lifeline for the playoff contenders that are hit by injuries late in the season. That's basically what it's going to be. It's like adding an extra life to a video game just when you thought the game was over. I mean, literally. Right? So beware the specter of tanking teams, like watching a horror movie sequel where monsters won't stay dead. That's the best way I can describe it. The leagues is always trying to do too much. And it's like whether it's banning tackles or it's tinkering with the kickoffs. I don't like it. I don't like it. After I did my research on it and thought about it, watched some game film on some of these kickoffs and some of the tackles, and I mean, dude, you're just gonna see dudes bounce off of dudes now. You're going to see Derrick Henry run over dudes like it's nobody's business. You're going to see more of the Josh Norman stiff arms on these guys. Telling you, it's becoming a soft ass league. I mean, it's becoming a soft ass league. You know what I mean? It's just becoming a soft ass league, in my opinion, man. I just can't stand it anymore. It's not that I can't stand it. Like, I'm gonna be, it's just I just don't agree with it. At the end of the day, I just don't agree with the terms. I don't agree with the new rules. I think it's bullshit. Like I said, I think we were brought up in, like I said, when it comes to the tackling rule, you were brought up in Pop Warner. It was fun trolling, so take care, bro. Ishan, it's all good, man. I appreciate you joining, and you control all you want, man. You troll along. You troll along. All right. Just remember, karma's a little bit of a bitch sometimes. Can be. But in the end, man, like I said, but like I said, I think I mean, they will do away with tackles soon. Will you still watch? I mean, I don't think they can get rid of tackling. That's the thing. Like, I don't think they can get rid of the tackling. They can try to improve the game all they want from injuries, but I don't think they'll get rid of tackling because I don't think anybody's going to watch it. This sport was made to be physical. You know what I mean? Like, it was made to be physical. And so now that they're taking away the hit tackle, I think it's bullshit. They think that they're making the game safer, but really they're not in that aspects of things because you taught these guys like I was taught in Pop Warner to always go for the hip or for the legs, always go low, right? When I was tackling, I was never taught, even in Pop Warner. I mean, we're talking just the basics, right? We're just talking about, young things. I'm just talking about when I was young. That's how we were taught to hit. So now you're taking that away. You're just going to see guys bump shoulders. That's what I'm saying. Derrick Henry or George Kittle, any of the big men, you might as well go ahead and draft them in your next fantasy draft because they're going to eat with these new rules. Exactly, Jeff. Exactly. But again, I think these refs don't even know what to call. It's like I said earlier. You think about it this way. They're talking about the argument's all about the player safety. After all, like I said, no one wants your quarterback sidelined, right? But the critics fear it's going to be for the refs, it's going to be like for them trying to decipher hieroglyphics to figure out what the call is. And then you have these defenders will have to rewrite their basically have to figure out how to tackle. Like re-tackle all over again. Like, and this is not something you can practice because they're not always wearing pads. And I think rarely you see them practice in pads, And so, again, it just doesn't make sense to me. I think that they're just trying the kickoff. They're just trying to add more excitement to it. I think it's just not. I don't think it's going to make it any better. You're going to see more penalties on that, and it's just going to be boring. You're going to see you'll probably see at best maybe a kick return here and there, but then it's really to get better field position. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see how it's going to make it any more exciting. And then you're saying goodbye to the onside kicks. I love the onside kicks because even sometimes I know it's very rare that we get them, but it's like it's fun in the aspect of it because it makes the game more exciting because it's like I said, it's like having a surprise party without the surprise. Like there's no there's no fun in that. I think that the NFL is going to end up having penalties after penalties after penalties, and it's like these refs are having to navigate these penalties like they're blindfolded in a minefield. But again, I think that these there's going to be a lot of stoppages now with that whole new clock review thing that I said. It's all about sports betting, in my opinion. I think a lot of this has to do with sports betting, but I also think it has to do with softening up the game. And I'm just telling you, brace yourselves for a lot of stoppages in these games. And it's going to get ridiculous. It's going to get ridiculous. I think, and then again, with the later trade deadline, it's like I said, it's a lifeline for these contender teams that get hit by injuries late in that season who are making that playoff push. And it's just like all it is literally adding an extra life to to yourself, like if you're in a video game when you thought the game was over. And then you got to beware of those teams that decide to let those guys either trade, let those guys trade away because they're tanking for the draft. I'm just saying, I think that some of this is bullshit. I think it's bullshit. So whether you like the new rule change or not, I don't. I think it's bullshit. I call BS on it. Yeah, so it is what it is. It is what it is, man. All right, let's talk about let me talk about where was it? I wanted to go to Mr. No, I want to go to Joe. Joe posted it this morning. Well, I'm glad this was something I was glad to hear. Dave Canales did say that he's going to work on, said Bryce Young's depth on his dropbacks were a little bit tied to some of the Panthers' pass protection issues last year, but didn't view that as a problem, said part of the typical growth of a young quarterback. So glad to hear that. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. So Joe Parsons came out with this article, but it was pretty interesting to me. That the Panthers are they're obviously on the hunt for a new edge rusher, right? They're trying to find someone that they can replace, not necessarily replace Brian Ferentz for the future, right? But it's more or less to like a safety net, right? They're trying to just fill that void until they either find someone else in the draft or whether it's in the next year's free agency. I think whatever the case may be. I think that that we should still try to get obviously Jadeveon Clowney. The problem I have is that they need to, like he says, and I agree with him, we definitely need to resist the urge of overpaying any aging edge rushers, right? If we cannot land them. And as like former Panthers GM, David Gettleman used to warn, shopping hungry can lead to making rash decisions, which we've done plenty of times as a team. So the Panthers, I think, need to find a backup plan while waiting for Jadeveon Clowney's decision, which is known to take his time. And again, you got the draft coming up. I mean, the draft is not far away, folks. I mean, we're a month away from the draft, right? April 25th. I mean, today's the 26th. I mean, the Panthers have been practically, you know, cut throat with their with their edge rushers. If you think about it. Brian Burns is gone, went to the Giants. They lost YGM to the 49ers. And I know that, y'all know how I felt about the Brian Burns thing. YGM wasn't like, oh my God, we lost YGM. But but Dan Morgan, the current general manager, and you got Dave Canales as a first year head coach. They're obviously keeping in touch with Clowney's people, which is good to hear, and others to build the roster and make it the best it can be, right? At least for this year, right? And I think all we're asking for as fans is to make is this team to be competitive this year, right? Progress from last year, right? And Clowney's free agent tour has taken him from here to Carolina to New Jersey, where apparently he had outstanding visits with the Jets. However, the deciding factor for Clowney will likely be which team offers him the most money. So he's looking for a big payday after emerging as one of the league's, I would say he's probably one of the best league's bargains right now. If the Panthers can't win Clowney, then they should just consider someone else, maybe, or they just look towards the draft. I don't think that they're going to go out and grab another Justin Houston. I don't think they're going to go out and grab somebody else, right? I think they'll just go and look in the draft and grab somebody there. And I think that their appetite for the pass rusher is definitely understandable. They definitely need to be eyeing the pass rusher for sure. Guys, make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, whether you're watching on Twitter or whether you're watching on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Make sure you pound the like button. All right. That's all I ask. That's all I ask that you do. It's very simple. If you want to join the Discord, I have joined the link in here. I have put the link to the Discord up above right here in the chat. And then so make sure you do so. Let's see. Saw the new rule changes. Ridiculous, pointless kickoff rule. Why we even have it to kick off at all? Then, yep. Happy to see Dave say he's not telling anyone who we are drafting. He's being blunt. Yep. Jets lost Huff, yo. Bryce Huff, I thought that, but he signed with someone, didn't he? Who did he end up signing with? That's right. He went to Philly. He ended up going to Philly. Shit. Forgot about that. But again, so you got to get there. Obviously, the appetite for another pass rusher is understandable, right? I mean, your top edge rusher right now is a pair of DJs, right? You got two DJs. You got DJ Johnson, who they got last year in the 3rd round, and then you got DJ Wannon, right? Who had 8 sacks last season in 4 years with Minnesota. Now, again, Eagles edge rusher Hassan Reddick is out there available for via trade. But he reportedly wants that type of top market deal, and the Panthers couldn't get it done with Burns. Hold on, folks. Sorry about that. But the free agent pool has been well picked over at this point. Randy Gregory, who was a Panther, who was with the Panthers defense coordinator, Evero in Denver, could be an option. Jerry Hughes, who played for Buffalo when Morgan was in the Buffalo's front office, is also someone to monitor. However, both are in their 30s and have failed to reach 4 sacks last season. And aren't in the same class as Clowney, in my opinion. While the Panthers await Clowney's decision, they should remember to stay hungry. And some other news, obviously recently they acquired Deontay Johnson, right? So I wanted to talk about Deontay Johnson real quick. And I wanted to say something very nice about Mr. Deontay Johnson. I kind of want to pull up his route tree again so y'all could see that. Because I love that. I love that route tree I found of him. Let's see some Panthers news. Zach just came in and sent me something over here. Sounds like Dave Canales wants a number 3 quarterback to be a veteran, not a developmental player. He said he wants someone with playing experience and NFL experience to help the room. He doesn't view the third NFL spot as a developing spot. Okay. Interesting. Zach comes in with it. Zach just sent me this in the Discord. It sounds like Dave Canales wants his number 3 quarterback to be a veteran. Well, yeah, I would assume that so, and not a developmental player. He said he wants someone with playing experience, NFL experience to help the room. He doesn't view the number 3 spot as a developing spot. Well, I mean, if he's going to bring in another quarterback, I mean, I don't know who's available. Who's he going to bring in? I mean, has Ryan Tannehill signed with someone? Gardner Minshew's gone. Jacoby Brissett's gone. Jameson Winston's gone. The only person I think they could bring in is probably Ryan Tannehill if you want to bring a true veteran in. I mean, you could bring in, Jimmy Garoppolo's already got his. Mason Rudolph, Easton Stick. I still think he's with LA. You could bring in Kyle Allen, but that's not a guy I don't think you want to bring in. So the guys that they could bring in, it's either Ryan Tannehill. If that's just the case, they could either bring in Ryan Tannehill, Brian Hoyer, Nate Sudfeld, Blaine Gabbert, Carson Wentz, Trevor Siemian, AJ McCarron, Matt Barkley, Logan Woodside, Felipe Franks, and Garrett Gilbert. That's who they could bring in. That's who they could bring in as a veteran. Right? As a veteran. So, I mean, if he's looking at a number 3 option, those are the only guys I see. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, but he's mid sacks because he's double teamed so much. But now that's going to change, I think, Matt Chatter with Brown with the sacks, because I think O'Shawn being a true nose tackle, again, he's a block eater. So I think that's going to take some pressure off, just like Dan Morgan said in that interview when he was breaking down the free agency. I think he's going to definitely definitely eat. Yeah, Shaq Lawson, those guys don't. How Deontay Johnson was separation. I mean, he was top 10 in separation last year. So very good. I think it's good. If it's me, Marcos, I would probably say if I'm picking anybody off of that list, it's either going to be Tannehill, Carson Wentz, and that's probably it. Yeah, they're going to go out and get Zach Wilson. I wonder how people would feel if we went out there and got Zach Wilson. It's like, I wonder how many people would say, hey, Bryce don't work out. We got Zach Wilson. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's probably already ruined because of the Jets, which that's normally what happens. Any player goes to the Jets, it seems like, as a quarterback. Trade deadline is being moved after week 9. Yeah, D-Cash. Again, I talked about it earlier about the NFL rules change. I don't like any of it. And again, I mean, those teams that are making a playoff push are going to basically get a lifeline. And teams that are tanking are going to be able to trade those players to these teams that are making that playoff push. As of right now, the only available, based off of what I'm seeing off of Spot Tracker, these are the only available third string quarterbacks we could go with. So I don't see Kellen Mond on this list. You know, I don't see. I mean, I could put. I think this is the one I want. Yeah, I mean, these are the only guys. Ryan Tannehill, Brian Hoyer, Nate Sudfeld, Blaine Gabbert, Carson Wentz, Trevor Siemian, and A.J. McCarron. That's all you got as guys that you can sign as backups as of right now. Yep. So if he's going to bring a third guy in, hey, I think it's good that they bring in a third guy in. I think it brings a lot of competition in. I think Canales is going to make Bryce work for it, that starting job. I'm telling you, I think they're going to make him work for that starting job. You know, Chad, I would have taken Fields. I wouldn't care for Pickett much. I think Pickett's a check down Charlie, small hands. I don't like him very much. I think Bryce Young's better than Kenny Pickett, but that's just me. I just don't think Kenny Pickett is that good. Dalton better than all of them? Probably so. Matt Chatter, probably so at this point. I can't not disagree with you. Not bad. That'll give Bryce some comp. Yeah, I think so. Yep. I think that they either got to go with I think they'll either go Carson Wentz or they'll go Ryan Tannehill. Maybe one of those guys. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. So I wanted to talk about, well, I kind of already talked about that yesterday. Didn't realize that I kind of already talked about that yesterday about the Deontay Johnson thing. So I'll skip that for today. I already talked about it, talking about how, talking about how, what was it I was talking about him yesterday? Oh, about Mike Tomlin. Let me get back to this situation over here. Or was it Joe Parsons? There it is. Let me get back to Joe Parsons. This is okay. Here, this is the one I want to talk about. So Dan Morgan says that Panthers have not yet made a decision on Jaycee Horn's 5th-year option. Says team loves Horn. Mentions the injuries have been out of his control. Now, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. I don't know how you can say that injuries are out of a player's control when and it's not saying that, and I'm not saying that Jaycee Horn's a bad player. So I'm not saying that at all. Okay. So let's get that straight. I'm just saying that I think that we need to just realize that he's injury prone. Okay. It feels like we almost got another Dante Jackson on our hands. Sorry. Dante Jackson on our hands because of the injuries. And obviously I think as us fans are kind of curious as what we're going to do with Jaycee Horn's 5th-year option. And obviously he was a 1st-round pick. He was 8th overall in that 2021 draft. but his injuries have ridden his career and has left this team in a bind multiple times. And that's why I've been preaching on this channel that this team has to get depth in the corner. Now, they went out and got Dane Jackson. They re-signed Troy Hill. But, after that guy, if we're looking at this roster, okay, if we're talking about the fifth-year option, right, we're talking about this team's, Dante you look at this Panthers corner room now. If we're looking at this Panthers corner room now, right? Okay, cool. I can share this instead. All right, so here it is. I mean, we're looking at Dane Jackson, Jaycee Horn, Troy Hill, Deshaun Jameson, DiCaprio Booty, or Boodle. I don't know how you pronounce his name. And AJ Parker. Like, Dan Morgan, recently spoke to reporters on a Zoom call about when he was at the NFL's annual league meeting. And he was asked about this team's future with Jaycee Horn. And Morgan did not give a definite answer. Okay. We all know that Jaycee Horn, when healthy, talent-wise, is undeniably one of the best corners in the NFL. We've seen it firsthand. He was top 3 between Sauce and Surtain when he was healthy, right? So his availability has been a significant concern for the Panthers. And I've always said it on this show. The best ability is availability, and that's how it is in the NFL. But since joining the league, he has faced a string of injuries, a broken foot, a broken wrist, a hamstring strain. He's only played 22 out of the 51 possible games. Now, the Panthers have until May. Okay. They have until May to pick up his fifth-year option, which would cost this team approximately $12.4 million for that 2025 season. Given that hefty price tag, and it's not really that hefty, okay? $12.4 million ain't a lot of money, okay? It ain't that big of a hefty price tag. Some of you might think it is. I shouldn't have said that hefty price tag. I meant to say it's not a hefty price tag. And Jaycee Horn's injury history, I would say I think it's understandable if the Panthers take their time. I think it's understandable that they're going to take their time to weigh their options on this. However, I think as us fans are awaiting this decision, it's important to remember that Horn's talent must be noticed. I mean, when he's healthy, again, he's proven to be a force to be reckoned with on the field. There's no question about that. But with some luck, some intelligent training, he could overcome his injury woes, become a valuable asset to this team for years to come. That's a possibility. So whether the Panthers exercise the fifth-year option or not, I think one thing is for sure: the future of this young cornerback is still bright. And who knows? He'll even maybe surprise us with a miraculous comeback from his injuries, proving that he's just not just a talented player, but a determined and resilient one. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best for Horn and the Panthers, which whether that means it's here or not, I hope we keep him. I think that we should pick up his fifth-year option, right? I tweeted it earlier. I said that, on my Twitter, I said that, 12 million for his fifth-year option isn't bad, but the question remains, can he stay healthy for a full season? I say we pick up his fifth-year option. It's a low risk but high upside ordeal, in my opinion. And that is. So overall, I hope that I want this to work out too. It's like the Bryce Young thing. I want it to work out, right? But I just don't know if it's going to. Right? So great comments on Mike. Oh yeah, Mike Tomlin, man. I think Mike Tomlin's the best best coach in the NFL right now. I still believe that. I still believe it. I still believe that. So he Marcus Cash slipping and falling in the pool room. Oh my God, that's funny. Appreciate that, day one. I appreciate that. Yeah, the facts about the turf and Tepper still refuse to change. It's infuriating. The only reason why keep pounding. The only reason why he won't change is because of the soccer team he invested in. That is the main reason why they won't change the field turf there in Charlotte. Is because he invested into that freaking soccer team that plays in the same stadium. Yeah, but if he won't change it, Marcos, because he's so freaking fully invested. He's solely fully invested in that stupid ass soccer team. I know. But apparently I guess he was informed that they weren't. I don't know. I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows. All right. Another thing by Joe Parsons I want to talk about, or no, I want to talk about this. Where was it? Okay. Bullshit is what I said. Derek Brown likely to end up in Dallas, Arizona if he's traded. Okay. Now here's the next big thing. Now I know B Good's been on this show and he's talked about this situation. That could come to fruition. Unfortunately, it could. Okay, there's a lot of talks around the league. Or there's a lot of talks going around about this situation with Derek Brown. A lot of people believe that we can't afford him. Okay. A lot of people believe that because we couldn't afford, because a lot of people believe that the whole situation was that we couldn't afford Brian Burns or whatever the case may be. Again, that's not the case. Okay. I think that whole situation is totally different than this Derek Brown situation. Okay. I think that the Panthers have a lot. Brown, who finished last season with a record high of 103 tackles, is considered one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Definitely a vital piece to this future. The problem is, and for us Panthers fans, we've been skeptical about this team ability to commit to their star players, like departures of Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Brian Burns. And Dan Morgan has expressed his optimism that they would be able to agree with Brown and his agent. Now, there has been talk. Now, they have had good conversations, apparently. Right now, the conversation is that they're talking about the future. It does not confirm that they are actually going to sign, that they are going to sign, but they are in talks right now. And that, okay, there's not a timetable on it, like he says. Dan Morgan came out and said there's not a timetable on it. Derek Brown's agent came out and said there's not a timetable on it, but he's glad that that at least they are considering it, and considering his future, right? And they've had some good discussions together, and they're working through it right now, and hopefully they can end up working out, which they think and feel based off what Dan Morgan says, he thinks that it will. Now, in his most recent press conference, he was asked about it by Sheena, and he kind of tiptoed around it and kind of stuttered a little bit, and it kind of made me wonder, okay, well, where's your confidence at? And he said, but other reports are saying that he's confident that they're going to reach a deal with Brown. So it's like, I don't know who to believe. And honestly, I don't know. I don't really care at this point. What I do care about is being committed to key players like Derek Brown. If you're going to commit to this guy, commit to him. Okay. It's like you find a good girl, but you as a man are wishy-washy, right? You don't know if you know she's good for you, but you're just like, well, I don't really, you got commitment issues. but she's a good girl, man. What do you have to lose? Right? It's the same thing in this situation. You got a good player here. What do you have to lose by committing to him? So whether you commit to build around him and with this roster and through the draft and keep him as a talent, keep him on the roster, okay? Or you trade him and you get the draft picks you want for him, and you rebuild that whole defense. Right? Because he was the 7th overall pick in that 2020 draft. I think he fits the mold perfectly here and exactly the type of player that the Panthers want to build around. But why is it that Brown is considered such a valuable player? I think people need to understand that. For one, he's a rare combination of size and strength and athleticism. That makes him a nightmare for opposing offensive linemen, right? He's incredibly versatile and is able to play both nose tackle and defensive end. All right. And he plays those positions easily. I think he obviously had his best season last season, so he definitely needs to stay where he's at. But then if you look at his production on the field, last season he set a record for the most tackles by defensive tackle in the NFL history. He also recorded 2 sacks. He had 2 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles. To me, that shows that he's not just a run stopper, but he's also disruptive in the pass game. All of this, though, makes Brown an invaluable asset for the Panthers and one that I feel like they can't afford to let go. But if they do decide to let go, please don't make the same mistake with Brian Burns. You need to get the same value we're going to get out of Brian Burns when Los Angeles sent you a trade request for him. I want 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. So first-round pick this year, if they decide to do it this year, and a future first and a future second, if you're going to do it. Because Carolina, Morgan and them have to make some tough decisions. And you can't live off in the past, such as, because they made a tough decision in trading away Burns. And it's clear they see Brown as a cornerstone of the future of the success of this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if they do that, Josh, or not. I was told that they don't. I had never heard that, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. What's up, Jen? How are you? I think someone sent me a message today on the Discord saying they wanted to join my fantasy league, but I don't I haven't started it, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Scott. How about no, Scott? So, that's just my take on Derek Brown. Either you need to, again, be committed to your key players, or I need value. We're not trading. Move Brown for first and a third all day. Yeah, Matt Charles like, get him out. Let's rebuild this defense. We need more players, not less. Guys, if you're also subscribed to the channel, if you want to take the next bigger step in become a member of the channel. Okay, there's different levels of it, and the prices start at even 99 cents. So please become a member. You can also send a super chat. That also helps too, if you want to take it another step further. Agreed on Brown, Clay. What's good, Clay? What's up, Fadenam? What's up? All right. Let's get on to the next thing here. So I want to talk about. There was something I really, really wanted to talk about. Oh, this is something I wanted to show y'all. I thought y'all might like this.
You want to pop on here right now? We got here. This is Mr. Tepper here.
Sir, is this a show?
Yeah, that's it. But I'm on my. You see, I got my.
All right, I can't play the full clip because I'll get bumped on YouTube. But go check that clip out. It's hilarious. Just to give you a background, Pat McAfee was talking to Adam Schefter at the league meeting yesterday. David Tepper walked by and saw Schefter, and Schefter basically was saying hi to Schefter, and Schefter was like, "Is that your son?" And he's like, No, this is the Pat McAfee show." And then it gets funny. All I got to say is go watch it. It's funny. You'll get a kick. You will get a kick. I was in a Discord talking to myself. No one to talk to your boy. I didn't see you. What did you message? Where'd you message? Oh, I texted you back. I texted you back. What's this that you sent me, Zach? No fair catches, more returns because kicks between the 20 and the end zone must be returned. Kicks that don't reach the 20 result in the touchback. Yeah. Bullshit. Go ahead and put that blue star next to your name. Yeah. That's right, Marcos. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Help your boy out here. Good show. D. Davis. Appreciate that. All right. So here's the next thing I wanted to talk about. I got to find it. I had it up here earlier. It was on Joe Parsons. It was on Joe Parsons. Because it gave me an idea. I can't find it. Hold on. Sorry, I'm having some trouble here finding the thing I was looking for. No, that's not it. Trying to find what I wanted to talk about. Where's it at? Well, you know what? I'll use this for an example. I had it up here the other day, but I can't find it. I can't not find it. Kind of back to this image. Let's cut back to this image real quick. All right. Rockstar keeps that fire. I tried to, Fadenam. I tried to. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Appreciate that, day one Panthers fan. Way better than most. I do the best I can with the time that I have. Fourth time the ads have restarted your podcast and froze on me. Shake my head. Yeah, dude, YouTube is nuts, man. YouTube is just nuts in that way. All right, so I want to talk about this a little bit more. I felt like I didn't really get to go through this, okay? We know that this team, okay, as a whole, right? As fans, as you know, as normal human beings, work 9 to 5s. You know, we spend our hard-earned money, right, on a team. I mean, we do, right? We're fans of a team that we spend our hard-earned money on, and we have been in disarray. We went 2-15 this year, right? It's a harsh reality if you think about it that way. And I hate to be like that because it's like because I spend my hard-earned money on developing this channel. I spend my hard-earned money on paying for jerseys. I spend my hard money on going to games, traveling, paying for hotels, because I don't live in Charlotte. But the thing is that I want Panthers fans to understand this. Yes, we've been going through a rough patch lately. But this team's general manager, Dan Morgan, is preaching to you guys, and I don't think that you really realize it. I don't think you see the bigger picture here. I think a lot of people just see what's in front of them. What happens, right, in the free agency, what has happened in these trades. But he's preaching to you without you even knowing he's preaching to you. See, I see the bigger picture here. He's preaching to you to have patience. Because we're trying to stabilize an organization that has been in a disarray for the past 6 to 8 years. Right? I think there's obviously some ambitious plans for the long-term prosperity here, right? But again, I always go back to that saying. And it's the same saying. It's Rome was never built in a day, right? You have to think about it this way. Morgan has been tasked to turn this team's fortunes around and make some big moves this offseason. And you can tell he had no say last year under Scott Fitter with David Tepper meddling on the side. You can tell. Whether you believe that or not. I mean, this general manager has preached patience and discipline in conducting football business. He wants to build a competitive team immediately, but also plans to have a gradual growth, which means he wants us to be competitive next year and progress next year. But then the next year after that, we'd be even more competitive. So if we win 4, 5, 6 games this year, which is probably around what it will be, next year, hopefully we win 7, 8, 9 games, right? But one of the most significant moves Morgan has made is hiring Dave Canales, I think. This move was made to bolster an already developing working relationship between the two, which is clearly indicates that Morgan is willing to make tough decisions to get the team where it needs to be. Another move that raised eyebrows, right, is the trading of Brian Burns to the New York Giants for second and fifth round picks. This move was seen as a below market value. I still believe that. No offense. But Morgan insisted that he was cleaning up the previous regime's contract mismanagement, which he was. I can totally agree with that because Scott Fitter mismanaged contracts like a motherfucker. Sorry. Excuse my language, but it's true. That's why we're eating all of that dead cap this year of over $46 million. So that next year we would have an estimated value in cap space available of $111 million. And you only are paying your guys this year the $1.125 million that you signed in their first year of their contract. So after those contracts next year, when it goes into the next year, I know I said 111, but I re-looked it up earlier. I meant to mention this before I said that. It will probably still be around 96 million. So still a shit ton of money to work with. Okay. But he's taking a long-term approach here and is willing to take hits to the roster salary cap for long-term flexibility. And that's what you have to do in the process of what we're in. Morgan's not panicking. He's taking disciplined approaches to build out this team roster. This is what I'm getting from his press conference that was mentioned on yesterday's live stream that I missed and I went and watched. And this is kind of what I'm going off of what I heard. He wants to build this team with the type of people and players that believe are necessary for success. Like Morgan is not expecting the Panthers to take a significant leap back into the playoff contention right away. Neither do I. Never. I haven't thought that at all. But he's confident that the team will be competitive in the future. He's confident in that. So the defense, yes. Does it have some concerns as the team has lost some key players? For sure. But Morgan believes that this is the best possibility chance the Panthers have of obtaining some balance of respectability next season and into the future. Now, Morgan is also focused on giving Bryce Young a fighting chance by enhancing the assets around him. Now, I think that this approach is a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, for the Panthers. He's taking a long-term approach to build this team and is willing to make the tough decisions and get it where it needs to be. Now, the Panthers may not be contenders right away, and we all know that. But with Morgan at the helm, fans can confidently, I think, can be confident that the team is moving in the right direction. So I think you need to realize the bigger picture here, that Dan Morgan is what he's preaching to you is patience and trying to strive for stability. And he's taking the longer road to build this team and is willing to make tough decisions to get where it needs to be. Everybody still believes that it's a retool / rebuild. They think they're doing the both at the same time. I don't see it that way. Not with what we're seeing with these contracts and not what we're seeing with the moves he's made. You'll need to look at the contracts and how they actually work before you decide if this is a retool or rebuild. If you actually go and look and do your research based off the contracts that they made, the only big 2 contracts that they really did make was the Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis one. Those 2 contracts were the only ones that are massive. But again, they are long-term contracts because next year, I think Robert Hunt's only going to so that right now, Robert Hunt, for example, right? He had the big contract, right? So if you look at his contract, okay, on Spot Track, he's only going to have this year. His base salary is 1.1 million. Okay. But the next year, then it goes up to the 15.8. And then after that, it's 18.5, 18.5, and 17.5. So it's not that big of a contract and not of a big of a hit as you think it is in the long term because of what they're doing in just this year. And you can move off of his contract after the 3rd year and not take a massive hit in dead cap. So if after the 3rd year it doesn't work out, he would technically, if in his 4th year, he'd be making 8.5. But let's say it don't work out, we would only take a hit of 10.6. And we would get it looks like it would get 20 I think that would be it. You would get 20.5 million. So it's not like that he took these. So everybody looks at these contracts like they're so bad, and they're not. Right? It's not a bad contract at all. So again, the 10 million of 2026. So for example, the 10 million of 2026 salary fully guarantees the 3rd league day of 2025. Injury guaranteed at signing. So again, these contracts are not bad at all. These contracts are not bad at all. You need to go look at it. Look how it works. Again, he's preaching patience to you. What do you think about the new kickoff return? Jim and Adam Schefter posted a video in his story of what it would really look like. Jen, I don't like it. I don't like any of the new rules. I think it's bullshit. I think it's softening up the game. I think that you're going to see a lot more penalties. I think you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see guys like Derrick Henry and George Kittle eat because the tackling below the hip and all the tackling at the hip is basically prohibited now, which we were taught in Pop Warner at a young age to tackle at the hip. It's turning this league soft. This is a soft ass NFL. That's where it's going. It's going to be a soft ass NFL league. And unfortunately, that's the way I think it's going. I'm sorry. I hate to be a bearer of bad news, Jen, but There's going to be a lot of stopping and going. The late trade deadline is a lifeline for these playoff teams. It's so that these playoff teams can basically fix their problems, right? If they lose injuries, so these playoff contenders can get off their injury, move on from these guys that get injured. Another thing is you're going to see a lot of stop and going because these refs are not going to be able to figure out the penalties. They're going to be reviewing a lot of plays, and it's going to make the game a lot longer. I just think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't have the problem with the trade deadline thing either, but except you have to think about teams tanking because they're going to be willing to, like, if a team needs a guy that you have and your team is not even close, like we were last year, right? Some team could have traded for Brian Burns. That was a playoff team last year at that trade deadline late in the season. Like, if you're tanking, right, you're in a full rebuild. That's what teams are going to do. They're going to trade teams. The teams are going to trade players that are tanking. They're going to trade. I guarantee you they'll trade key players that are tanking. Clay, do you think Carolina should pick wide receiver Braden Rice if he's available at 33 or 39? No. I don't think you go for a Braden Rice until maybe the 3rd to 4th round. I'm not taking him at 33 or 39. That's for 2025 if it progresses forward. Yeah, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Guys, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. What's up, Toxic? Appreciate you joining the live stream. I mean, it seems like that's where it's going, man. I feel like this league's going to end up being a flag football league. I really do. They're trying to get in at let girl coaches. They're trying to get girl refs. It just doesn't make sense to me. Well, I'm talking this year, Matt Chatter. I'm talking about 3 to 6 wins. The year after that, if we get 3 to 6 wins, that's progress. Okay. If we get wherever we're at, I'll decide if it's 6 to or 7 to 9 wins. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. At the end of the day, I just don't get it. Yeah, I was just saying as we move forward, let's say we hit 6 wins this year, then I'm going to say, okay, we should hit 9 wins next year. $23 people watching. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So let's get into my top 3 players I want the Carolina Panthers to draft at number 33. Y'all ready for this? I'm going to tell you my top 3 players. Top 3 players, and we're going to start off with this gentleman right here. I'm going to share my screen. So these are my top 3 players. Number 1, okay, these are the top 3 players that I think the Carolina Panthers are going to need to go with. These are the best players I think they need to target with that first pick that they have, the 33rd pick, unless they decide to trade back. But this is who I'm going with if they decide to not trade back, okay? First up, we have Chop Robinson, okay? The edge rusher out of Penn State. He may be lacking in polish, but he makes up with his athleticism. He has incredible speed. He can get into the backfield with ease. However, his pass rush profile needs to expand a little bit. He doesn't have a regular rotation of pass rush moves or counters. So with some coaching I think Robinson could become a dominant edge defender. I do like him a lot. His athleticism is undeniable, though. And what we saw at the combine has moved his draft stock up tremendously. And it's even moved up more after his pro day, from my understanding, too. All right, another person. Y'all know how I feel about Chop. So obviously, and I've come on here and told y'all who I haven't really come on here and told you who I like at 33. Like, who are my top 3 guys at 33? I would say my next guy. Obviously, it would be this guy if he fell, but he's not falling to 33. So, but my next guy would definitely be this man right here. Zach Frazier out of West Virginia, the center, right? The Panthers are going to need to replace Bradley Bozeman, right? Eventually. I think Frazier could be just a player they're looking for. I can't rely on Austin Corbett's knee between the ACL and the MCL tear. This guy's a reliable center who can protect your quarterback. He can help the offense thrive. Plus, again, I just cannot trust an Austin Corbett who's moving over to center to remain healthy, especially with a torn MCL and an ACL in the same knee. You got to get a center in this draft. I don't care who it is. It has, and this is the guy I want. This is the guy I want. All right. Last but not least, another guy I want at 33 is Keon Coleman. Okay. Wide receiver out of Florida State. The Panthers have already made to improve that wide receiver room. They traded cornerback Dante Jackson. They got Deontay Johnson out of it. However, I still think we need another high-end receiver. I think Coleman could be just a player they need. 6'3", 213. He can leap above any defensive back, win most contested catches. Big part of the Seminoles' success last season. And he could be a key piece, I think, on our offense in the future. I just think he fits the – I like Keon Coleman here. Robinson is good with me. Why would you pick an edge first? The right pick would be a center or right receiver. I mean, again, the thing is that this wide receiver group is so stacked, man. This wide receivers group is so stacked. And here's another thing that I want to say about this wide receiver group. That they're already projecting that certain teams are going to be going after quarterbacks. Here's the thing do you like Devondre Ware? I like him. I think that I've seen him fall to the 65th pick, but I've seen him go in the second round, late second round. I hear you, Phenom. I just saying, like, you got to think about also the defense in this aspect of things. I mean, we could go and get Adiza Isaac, like AJ Brooks says, at the 65th pick. If you want to go Frazier, Keon Coleman, right? Replacing Burns, just wait until the draft. Would bet they draft edge with one of those second round picks. Yeah, or they trade back. I mean, they might trade back. You never know, man. I mean, they could trade back and get some extra draft picks with both of those 33rd and 39th pick. But here's the thing. If we go look at, if we do go to PFF, right? Here is what I think is going to happen. I'm going to use this mock draft simulator, and this is for every team. Okay? All right, so let's say I pick for every team. I'm gonna pick for every single team. And I'm gonna tell you how I think. I'm just gonna tell you how I think this first round is gonna go. I really, really am. Okay. I'm gonna go. It doesn't matter since I'm picking. But I'll put the settings the way I want it. Okay, let's start the draft. All right, so I already know. I already know what Chicago's doing, right? We already know what Chicago's doing. They're going to take Caleb Williams first, right? I mean, simple. Now, Washington's an interesting one. Here's the thing with them. They need a quarterback. They need a tight end. They need offensive line help. They definitely need defensive help after they traded off last year, right? They are either going to go with Drake May or they're going to go with, I think they're going to go Jaden Daniels. Now, I've seen different mock drafts around the league where they have them predicted. You know, everybody's different. Okay. Everybody is different when it comes to these mock drafts. Especially when it comes to these certain teams. Like I'm going to try to show you a perfect example. Like of someone's mock draft. Okay. I kind of like CBS's. Let's see if someone's done one here recently. I like the Ringer. Those guys know ball. So like for example, the Ringer has Jaden Daniels going there. I could see it, right? I could see them taking it. That's what I'm saying. Like I could see Washington taking Jaden Daniels. And not try to go after another Drake May and go with like a guy like kind of like who was kind of like Sam Howell. I mean, some people compare Drake May to the same thing as Sam Howell was. I don't know if that's the case. I like Washington to take Jaden Daniels. I really do. And that's what I'm going to rock with there. I think here the Patriots take Drake May. I think they take Drake May. Now, the Cardinals, I think the Cardinals will probably end up taking Marvin Harrison Jr. here. I think they take Marvin Harrison Jr. here. Okay. I think then the Chargers will probably end up taking Malik Neighbors. Now, the Giants, this is where it gets interesting. I've heard that JJ McCarthy could be going to the Giants. I've heard that he could be either going to the Giants. I've heard the Vikings might get him. I heard the Vikings could trade up and go and get him. I mean, there is so many things here that I think could happen. But again, the Vikings, they need a QB, so do the Giants, right? So I'm trying to see this is what I'm trying to predict based off of what I kind of can see. But I could also see the Giants sticking it out with Daniel Jones and getting Rome Odunze. I could see them doing that. And I think yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think Rome's going to go there. Now, Titans, I think they go Joe Alt. I think they get that solidify that obviously I think they solidify that damn offensive line at left tackle. Okay. The Falcons, I think they take Quinyon Mitchell. They get themselves another corner. Now, this is where it gets interesting here with the Bears with that number 9 pick. They could take Brock Bowers and add on to that thing. I don't see that happening. I think they go and get Dallas Turner, like it's always been said. I think they go out and get Dallas Turner. Jets. All right, so here's the thing with the Jets. I think the Jets. So the Jets could either this. They could get Brock Bowers. Again, they could also go wide receiver, take Brian Thomas, Jonian Mitchell. I could see that too. They do need a tackle. I mean, they could get Fuage here. But I don't think that they need him at right tackle as much. I don't think they need a right tackle. I think they need a left tackle. So I think they go Troy Fonatu, or they would either go Fashanu out of Penn State. I think that if I'm the Jets, because they need a left tackle, I think that the best guy on the board for that left tackle position is definitely, in my opinion, Fashanu out of Penn State. So I think they go left tackle there. Now, this is where I think the Vikings would take J.J. McCarthy. I think the Vikings are hot on J.J. McCarthy. Now, this is where the Broncos thing kind of gets interesting, because I could see them taking a nice pick here, and I think they go and get Brock Bowers. I think they go out and get Brock Bowers. But again, and then they try to go get somebody and I think they'll probably get a quarterback in the second round. But again, you never know. You never know. Okay. This is where it gets interesting for me with the Raiders, because I think the Raiders, the Gardner Minshew is cool, right? He's a great option. But are they going to rock with him? Is he the guy they're going to rebuild around? I don't think so. They could get Penix, but they could wait and get Penix maybe later. I think that they solidify their help out their offensive line. And I think they go and get J.C. Latham to help them at right tackle. So that's just my. I'm telling you. So this is how we're going to figure out. Like, this is how I'm trying to figure out what's going to really fall to us. Now the Saints. They're going to take Jared Verse. They need an edge rusher. They need help on that defensive line. They're going to take a guy like Jared Verse. Now, next, I would say the Colts will probably take a corner here. I think that even though Cooper DeJean's up there, I like Cooper DeJean, but I just think that some people are just not as fascinated with him as other guys. They're just not. All right. I think Teron Arnold is who they go with here. Now, Seattle, this one's interesting to me. I think they go and get Amarius Mims here. I like Amarius Mims out of Georgia. That helps that offensive line. They need very versatile. They can move him to guard if need be. Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they take Byron Murphy. They need help on that defensive line. I think they get Byron Murphy here. Now, this is where I think they need help on the offensive line there in Cincinnati. I think they take the left tackle, Troy Fatanu, out of Washington. Obviously, with the Rams, I think with Aaron Donald gone, I think they go with Liatu Lietu out of UCLA. I think that since the Pittsburgh Steelers are, they've got their quarterback situation, seems like figured out whether it's Russell Wilson or whether it's going to be Justin Fields. It's obviously probably going to be Russell Wilson starting, But they need, since they lost Deontay Johnson, I think that they take Brian Thomas here. Now, I think that Miami definitely needs help after losing Christian Wilkins. So I think they take Jerzon Newton. I think the Eagles need help on the offensive line. They need some versatility there. I think they take Talise Fulage. Now, the Vikings made that trade, if you don't remember, with, they made that trade with the Tennessee. They need some cornerback help, but they also need some center help. So they got their quarterback of the future, JJ McCarthy, in my opinion. I mean, I could see them going, this is tough for me. I could see them going multiple spots here. I mean, they could go corner. They could go Jackson Powers-Johnson. I mean, for me, they've got the wide receiver core. They got Jordan Addison. They still got Justin Jefferson. They lost a lot on the defensive side. But I think they need to solidify that offensive line just like us there. Who's Minnesota's center? Yeah, who's their center? Let me look at your roster. Oh, your center's not bad. You got Bradbury. So I don't think they would take a center then. They definitely need some corner help. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I think they go. I think they take Cooper DeJean here. I'll take Cooper DeJean to Minnesota. This is where I think. Dallas takes Jackson Powers-Johnson. I think they take Jackson Powers-Johnson here. I think Green Bay takes Graham Barton here. I think that I think that this is where now I know this is a long shot. But I think this is where I think Tampa Bay takes an edge rusher here because that's one of their biggest needs. I think they go with Chris Broswell out of Alabama. All right. Cardinals, they're up here. I think they need defensive back help. So I think they take Nate Wiggins here. Buffalo, that's an interesting one. Buffalo's an interesting one. They need wide receiver help. So I think they take Adonai Mitchell. I don't think they pass up on Adonai Mitchell falling there. I think with the Lions, do they need a wide receiver? No, I don't see them taking a wide receiver. I mean, they're either going to go edge or corner here. So we look at the corners. There's Kool-Aid there, and then there is the edge there. Who are they going to get? I think they probably would go Kamari Lassiter here. I think you got to go Kamari Lassiter. And then for the Ravens, I think Ravens will take Kool-Aid McKinstry. As for the San Francisco, I hate to say this, guys. Even though I want them, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think San Francisco takes an edge rusher here. Here's the reason why I think that. Okay. The reason why I think that is because they lost Chase Young. They have to add somebody else to help out to develop. I'm not going to flood the chat. Oh my God, we're talking about. Oh no. Oh Lord. Buffalo needs an edge. Yeah, well, they could get it, but I think that San Francisco takes an edge here. And they take Chop. And then I think right here, Kansas City Chiefs take a tackle. They get Jordan Morgan. Now, Carolina is on the clock. And this is tough. This is tough for me. Okay, this is tough for me. Now, this is where, I mean, now that he's off the board, Chop is off the board. I think that you go Chop. Now, can I skip these picks, or you go Zach Frazier? So that's the way I would look at it. Like, I think that is a good board, a very realistic board. I just don't think I go. But I probably take Zach. I mean, I'm taking Zach Frazier here. You know what I mean? I'm taking Zach Frazier there. But that's where I think that's how this board will fill out. So I think if I'm going on round one, then Caleb Williams goes 1, Jaden Daniels 2, Drake May 3, Marvin Harrison 4, Malik Neighbors 5, Roma Duzier 6, Joe Alt 7, Kenyon Mitchell 8, Dallas Turner 9, Fashanu 10, JJ McCarthy 11, Brock Bowers 12, JC Latham 13, Jared Verse 14, Teron Arnold 15, Amarius Mims 16, Byron Murphy 17, Troy Fanatu 18, Lietu 19, Brian Thomas 20, Jarzon Newton 21, Talise Fuage 22, Cooper DeJean 23, Jackson Powers Johnson 24, Graham Barton 25, Chris Boswell 26, Nate Wiggins 27, Donnie Mitchell 28, Kamari Lassiter 29, Kool-Aid McKinstry 30, Chop Robinson 31, Jordan Morgan 32. That's where I think that's how it falls. I take Zach Frazier. I mean, well, here's the thing, man. I'm going to tell you right now, between Jackson Powers Johnson, Zach Frazier, Cedric Van Pran, really that's it. You're taking a chance with Bogues, Lammer, and Drake Newton. But after that, and then if you really want to and you want to get in the later rounds, you go with Tanner Bortioli only or Dalen McMahon. There's really not much. I mean, there's really not much you're getting in center after that. I mean, you're very limited in the center position. Guards, different story. They traded Marcos. They let him walk, remember? He went to the center for the Cowboys, went to Washington, signed with Washington. I could get another edge rusher. Here's the thing, too, though. Y'all are talking about you're not going center. I can still get a wide receiver now at 39. Right? I can still get a wide receiver at 39. Okay? And then I can get an edge rusher at 65, which could end up either being Marshawn Kingley or Braylon Trice, or I can use somebody in the same position as an outside linebacker as Edgerrin Cooper, who can also be with that. But Josh, how do you know he's going to be a backup? You don't know that until he goes through training camp. I guarantee you right now, with Zach, if Zach Frazier came on this team, I'm telling you right now, Zach Frazier would be the starter. I'm telling you that right now. I know that for a fact because of the injury bug that has plagued Mr. Corbett. All right, we're going to go with the public. I'm just going to keep everything the way it is. We'll go with the public board. I know that for a fact, man. Telling you. He's got the court. You cannot tell me they're going to rely on Austin Corbett. Actually, you know what? I think the 66 pick went to the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't the 166 pick go to the Steelers, or did this one go? This one came for the Steelers. The 166 pick went to the Giants. Okay. I mean, I can get an edge rusher. I think Edgerrin Cooper fits that narrative as an edge rusher if we really want to do it. We'll go with the public and board today, and let's see how this draft works out. Caleb, let's see what they do. Drake, okay, so the public picks Drake over Jaden Daniels. Okay, Marvin Harrison there. Joe Alt, okay, interesting. Malik Neighbors, okay. Roma Duzier, yep. Okay, they went Fuage, but I still went left tackle there. Brock Bowers to Falcons? I don't know about that. Cooper DeJean, maybe. Okay, I can see that to the Jets. Jaden Daniels, okay. Dallas Turner now to them. Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, okay, we gotta. Some of these are a little. Some of these are just a little off there. We'll go with the settings is, and I'll rock with this. We'll go slow again. Not gonna mess with the settings today. Force trade. Trade again. Forcing trade. Start draft. Okay. Now here's the thing that I want to know from you guys. Are we trading back? Are we trading back? Do y'all want to trade back? Roma Duzier. Wow. Okay, Joe Alt. Wage. Marvin Harrison to the Falcons. That's insane. What are we doing here right now? What are we doing here? What are we doing here, PFF? Okay, first off, that needs to move back. That needs to move back. This needs to move back one. All right, let's try that. I mean, because this has just been terrible. This has just been terrible. Because I'm like, there ain't no way that's happening. Okay. Caleb. Like, I'm cool with Drake May or Jane Daniels there. That's fine. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Joe Alt. Okay. 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 This is a little bit better. Okay, they go for the okay. I mean, I could see it. They try to build that offensive lineup. All right. Edge. They add edge there. Okay. I could see that too, though. Jane Daniels to okay. Okay. Ryan Murphy there. Teron Arnold. Okay. Nate Wiggins there. Okay. Cooper DeJean. Okay. Yeah, I just forced the trade, though. I forced the trade, so it's okay. Some of these I'm okay with, but some of them I'm like, what? You're telling me the Vikings? Wait a minute. No. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. They just had the Vikings pick two edge rushers. That's not right. Hold on. Let me click on this. So what's the regular? Okay, so this is what the regular looks like. Let me see what this regular draft looks like. I get it. Let me see what this one looks like. All right. Caleb, Drake, Jaden. I'm okay with that. Marvin, Rome. Okay, I can see it. Malik Neighbors, Dallas Turner, Brock Bowers. All right. PFF, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to update your fucking draft boards. You need to update your damn shit. Like, update it now. This is terrible. Like, this is just terrible. Like, there's no way I see that happening. There's just no way. I don't see that happening. Let me see this. Let me see this. Let me see what y'all's is about. Let me see what y'all's look like. No. Lagging like crazy. All right, we're going to do a mock draft, damn it. We're going to do a mock draft. I think we're going to use NFL Draft Buzz. I'm not using PFF today. That thing is just off the wall. All right, we're going to do 7. We'll do 60. I'll say random. Let's do 2. Let's do 1. All right. I'll do 2. Trades on. That's fine. We'll keep the standard. Jimmy Johnson. Let's go with the Panthers. Select all teams. No. Okay. Let me enter this draft room. Let me see what this looks like. All right. Let's start a draft. Okay, they got Marvin Harrison there, Caleb Williams 2, Jane Daniels. Been using Harvard, just don't understand what they all do still. I don't know what they do either. I want to see what this looks like though. Like, I like this setup better. Okay, let me see what they did here though. They went Marvin Harrison number 1. No, let's reset that draft. Let's try. You said Harvard. I heard Fitzgerald and Spielberg's the best one. Let me try that. Nope. Caleb Williams is going number 1. I don't care what anybody says. Let me try Rich Hill. Okay. Okay, Malik Neighbors number 2. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, no. Oh, no. Let me try Harvard. I mean, I can understand some random shit happening, but like, you gotta be kidding me. Let's see Chase Stewart start this draft. No. No. This is so bad, man. Why can't I just have a decent draft? I'm turning the trades off. Okay. Y'all got to be shitting me with this damn thing. NFL draft buzz. Do me a favor and save me the bullshit with the fact that you're telling me that Marvin Harrison is going number 1 to the Bears. It's not happening. Thank you. Marvin Harrison to Washington. Now we know that's not right. Okay. I'm going to find me a good draft board today, damn it. It's the last thing I do on this show today because it is the last thing I'm going to do today on this show. All right. I'm going to set the settings up the way I've set it up before in the past. Yep. I'm going to go 7. I think this is the best way. I've done it in the past with PFF. This is the only way I know how to do it. It's have the settings like that. Basically, everything in the middle, move this one back and move randomness off. All right, start trade. All right, so guys, 31 of you watching, make sure you pound the like button. This is a lot better. I can deal with this. I'm okay with that. I can deal with that. I can deal with what I'm seeing right now. Before, I just could not. So, chat, I want y'all to tell me right now, with a 33rd pick, I have 3 guys. It's either Chop, Zach Frazier, or Keon Coleman. That's who I'm going with. Now, again, do y'all want to trade back? Because I know that's something we've talked about. Okay. Are we trading back in 33 and 39? What do y'all think? Do you see Carolina Panthers trading back 33 or 39? Or do you see them trading both? Or you don't see them trading at all? That's another good question. I think that we have to go wide receiver here, no matter what. But I kind of want to make a trade. I want to see if I can go ahead and trade back. Yeah, but then it's lopsided. But you give me that 71, it ain't lopsided. I could see Washington trading with us. You give me that 33, 36, 78, or that 100. Yeah, but that's too much. I don't see them making that kind of trade. I mean, they could. With Washington, they could make this trade, or they go like 40, 78. Okay. I think that's a fair fucking trade. 40 and 78. Wait, pause. And I'm going to trade the 39th pick. Because I could trade back again, go to 40. And I could go with them. Or I could go with like Philly at 50 and get the one in between there, get 50 in the 120, right? Could go 50 and 120 here. And I think that's a fair trade. You get the 50th and the 120th pick. We are able to get 2 extra picks out of it. Okay. And I think that's like actually like doable in real life. I don't think that's like bullshit trades. Okay. Now things change a little bit. So wide receiver, Keon Coleman's still available. I mean, here's the thing after this. They're going to go wide receiver here. They're going to go wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I mean, the Jaguars could go wide receiver here too. And the Bengals could go wide receiver here. Right? Tight end. We still got Jadeveon Sanders right here. Could take Jadeveon Sanders. You know, that's a big move that we've talked about. I think that, you know, again, so for me, like, again, I know that we got to go edge. I know we got to go wide receiver, and I know that we got to go center. Now, here's the thing. We know that, again, I'm going to do something I haven't done yet. Okay. I know that I do think that everybody is right in the aspect of the things that I like. As much as I want Keon Coleman and as much as I like his skill set, I like the fact of knowing that I have somebody who has a great route tree. Okay. And I know that I've also been high on a little bit of Troy Franklin. He's dropped down a little bit for me, and a lot of people have dropped down. I want to go Troy Franklin here, and then at the 50th pick, I want to try to get Adisa Isaac. I think that is the smart move here. And then I probably won't get my tight end, and I probably won't get my center. But at the 78th pick, we're going to be able to get something else. So I think I got to go but then I know that Ricky Parasol has a great route tree. I know he's got a great route tree. But the problem is for me is that, yes, he has a diverse route tree, but again, it's very good for him as a slot receiver. I mean, he's 6 foot. Well, I don't even think he's 6. Yeah, he's 6'1". To go along with a Deontay Johnson, I feel like I need someone that can go up and get it, though. I mean, it could be. I think Troy Franklin fits the mold better here than Ricky Parasol. I think I'm going to go Troy. You might not like it, but it is what it is. I'm going to go Troy Franklin. I like him better in this offense than I would Ricky Parasol. All right, so now I can either take Jadeveon Sanders, and I can wait to get my edge rusher at 65. Which, again, Edgerrin Cooper fits that mold into the fact of being an outside linebacker in the 3-4 scheme. And he's also very good against the pass. I kind of like this, like the move there. But then I do like Marshawn Keenly. Could be a guy we get at 65 if he's available. I mean, he might fall. I mean, we could get Jadeveon Sanders. We could get Adisa. I could get, but here's the thing. I could get Jadeveon Sanders and have Troy Franklin. I've solidified that my wide receiver room and my tight end room already. Even though my top 3 guys are Chop, Keon, and Zach, I still like to make it interesting when I do these. All right, so we went Troy. Oh, do I take Adiza or do I take Marshawn? I mean, we could go a different route. I've taken him before, and I've taken Jadeveon Sanders here. Could go Jonathan Brooks. We could take that running back we've been looking for. Everybody wants Chop, that's for sure. I'm going to take Jadeveon Sanders. Now I don't even have to worry about the wide receiver room or the tight end. Now, oh boy, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Let me see if my edge is there. No. Damn, they took both of them? The fuck? They took Adrian Cooper and Adiza Isaac. And Jonah Ellis. And Braylon Trice. And Marshawn Kinley. All right, well, fuck me sideways then. Well, running back it might be. But no. Oh, no. Nope. No. Could get Kyrie. Could get Kyrie Jackson. We could get a linebacker here. Would go with Junior Colson. Could go Jeremiah Trotter coming up at 78. We could take him there. And then we could take Kyrie Jackson to add to that corner room. So maybe we go Kyrie here, which I like. And then maybe I go wait, what? Q got me in trouble with boss. Now Clay sounds like drunk. What? What are you talking about, Mad Chatter? What in the God's name are you talking about? I could go either Muhammad or Kamara in those couple picks over there. And Nelson. Could get one of them. I'm just trying to figure out this damn thing. Now, 78 could take Gabriel Murphy. Which he did have 8 sacks last year. Who's very good. Could take Gabriel Murphy here in the edge. Now, defensive line. What do we have? What am I looking at defensive line-wise? Got some guys on the back end here. I mean, I could take Gabriel Murphy. Andrew Phillips now. Max Melton. I mean, add another corner, maybe. Gabriel Murphy is a good pick here, though. But I do need it. I'm going to have to get a center at some point. I'm hoping Van Pran falls out of this third round, but I don't think he's going to. I think Van Pran's going to go. Yep, there he went. 3 picks beforehand. All right, so now I'm going to go, and there's Bogues Limmer. Probably not going to happen. I mean, I might have to go Bo. I mean, Drake Nugent's not bad. I mean, Bogues isn't bad either. He's better but he's just not a true pass set blocking guy. I mean, he's got a little bit versatile, a little bit more because he's played left guard, but he only allowed 3 sacks. Zach Zinter didn't allow any. I mean, he only allowed Oh, I'm probably going to have to do a Drake Nugent at the back end. I mean, the value is just not there. I got my tight end. I got my wide receiver. I definitely need a linebacker here. I could go Michael Hall at the defensive line. Who else is available at the linebacker room? Okay, there's still some guys here. Okay. I just don't like this guy. He's undersized. I like Cedric Gray. I mean, and then we got tight end, we got wide receiver. A running back. Could get a running back. Got a corner. So running back, center, defensive line, linebacker, right? Because we went Troy Franklin, Jadeveon Sanders, Kyrie Jackson, Gabriel Murphy off the edge. Now we're here. I think I'm going to take Michael Hall in this situation. Yeah, I'm drafting Michael Hall here. I know who I'm going with at 120, though. I know who I'm going with at 120. I know who I'm going with at the 120th pick. Please tell me he's here. Yep. Thank you. Braylon Allen. Y'all got me on the Braylon Allen train. That's for damn sure. Okay, now I like Mekhi Wingo a little bit better. So I'm gonna get some defensive line help here. Grayson Murphy. How many Murphys did they got over there at UCLA? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mekhi Wingo. And then I still need a linebacker. And I need a center. I gotta go Drake Nugent here. Because I'm not gonna get that value anymore. Right? Oh, wait, I didn't need Mekhi Wingo. Son of a bitch. I fucked this whole draft up. Fuck the draft up. God dang it. We're getting this done today. We're getting it done. We're getting this done correctly. Now, damn it. I'm going to make the damn trades again. All right. I fucked this up. All right. Start the draft. All right. We're going to trade back again. This time, I'm going to trade with Green Bay. Give me your 41. No, not your 58. Give me your 91. Let's see if you can get the 88. Ooh, could get the 88. Not the 91. Okay, that's not realistic. 41. I think 41 and 88, but I feel like 98. I think we better off going 91 and getting. Yeah, let's try the 88. We'll try the 88. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna go and take this 39th pick. I'm gonna trade it like I did the last one. We're gonna take 39. And we're gonna trade back with. I think we'll go with the Eagles. I like the 53rd pick here. Give me your 210 at the end. And your 161. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But I think we could get this one too, the 120, which we were able to do earlier. Now that's ridiculous. I don't know if they would do that much. So that's pushing it a little bit. I think we did it with the 150. I think we did it with the 53 and the 120. I think that's a fair trade. Okay. All right. I think we go with this. All right. Now, I'm going to go. I still think I'm going to go wide receiver here again. Fuck that last one up. So bad. It pisses me off. All right. I mean, I could go Chris Broswell, but I've done that multiple times too. But then I could go Jadeveon Sanders here. And then take a chance of not getting. Ooh, that might not be bad though. What if we do this? Y'all might like this. This might be nuts. Watch this. If this work out the way I want it to, this might be insane. I'm making these quick picks real quick. So I went Adiza, Isaac, Jadeveon Sanders, the first two picks. I'm going to go here. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking Malachi Corley here. I've just became an absolute savage. I just became an absolute savage. Absolute savage. You just brought it out of me. So my first four picks went Adiza Isaac, Jadeveon Sanders, Malachi Corley at 65, Cedric Van Pran at 88. Now I'm at the 101 pick. I got my edge rusher, so I don't need an edge. I don't need a center. I don't need a tight end. I just need a corner, defensive line, and linebacker. So I'm going to go Michael Hall. I'm taking my running back here, Braylon Allen. Linebacker. I still think I'm going to go linebacker here. Probably going to go Michael Barrett. Yep. Okay, so probably Michael Barrett. I could add another edge rusher to help out, right? I could add a Nelson Caesar, who had 10 sacks last year in Houston. Fundamentally sound outside linebacker. Could be a guy that we could just add depth to it. Wide receivers wise, there's not much there, so I wasn't even going to go that route. Benson not. All right. Could add another guy to the defensive line like Mekhi Wingo. We do need a corner though. But again, I don't see anybody in the corner position we're taking besides Dwight McLaughlin. I mean, and I'm not going to get him. So the only thing I would say to go here is I go linebacker, Michael Barrett. I go corner, Dwight McLaughlin. This might be one of the wildest ones I've ever done. I mean, how am I going to finish this out? Right? Like, what am I going to finish it out here with? What wide receivers? Okay, we'll take the golden boy. I keep saying who might be the next thing, the next steal of the draft. It's probably not a. They probably gave me a B, but I mean, I like it. So there you go. You got your edge rusher. You got your solidified your tight end. You got a great route tree, Malachi Corey, yards after the catch, Yak King, Sector Van Pran, defensive lines filled, power back, halfback, linebacker Michael Barrett, Dwight McLaughlin, who's actually, I know his overall is a 169, but he's one of the highest rated cornerbacks in this draft class. And then Hayden Hatton, a guy that I think might end up being a steal in the draft. He's had back-to-back seasons at Idaho of over 1,200 yards. So we might be looking at a steal in the 7th round. I don't know, man. Dude, these mock drafts are nuts. Either way you look at it. I just wish that they would update them and make it more realistic. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also, check me out on the Discord. The Discord is pinned up on the top of the chat. Also, don't forget about BetUS. The link tree is down below, so make sure you check that out. And as always, guys, appreciate y'all joining. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.